Hello, everyone. This is Nikolas Zetouni from Next Gen Educare talking, since I'm seeing there on the chat, from Canada, Alberta, city of Calgary. So, good morning for everyone there from Cyprus, Romania, Dallas, and everyone else. Alrighty. We have 20 minutes to give you guys a little bit of an extra when it comes to block coding. I have been doing block coding here with Next Gen Educare for quite some time, about 5 years already. And it doesn't matter to what age group I go, from all the way to grade 1 to grade 6, kids always ask me about the sprites. So before we're going to get going there, in case you're not familiar with Scratch and block coding, let me share you my screen here so you can take a quick look. All right. So first things first, as you guys can see there in my screen, Scratch is a platform where kids from pretty much all ages, they can learn how to code by using this specific type of language called block coding. Instead of writing down all the parts of a code that most people call it syntax code, the code for adults, all you gotta do is get those little blocks that they look like puzzles, and you got to connect them together in order to get your code going. There is not really a lot of experience needed. There are many tutorials, as you guys can see in here, if you ever want to learn. And the nice thing about Scratch is it's super simple. It is free. You go there, all you gotta do is put your information if you want to have an account, register for the website, or you can just start creating without even having a Scratch account. All right? So great for kids of all ages, as I mentioned, even better for educators who want to add a little bit of an extra in their education setting, right, in their classroom, in order for kids to have a little bit of fun. Now, coming back to what I was telling you guys. So Scratch is great for developing games, for developing a little bit of art, and even storylines. Let's say just quickly here that I want my little cat to say hello, right? All you gotta do is get this code, and then once you press the green flag, your cat's going to say hello, and you can have that interaction between two characters there and whatnot. It's called Scratch. Let me put in here for you guys. Alrighty. And what's the deal here? So again, if it's your first time using it, that's fine. You're going to go here into this little icon, and you guys are going to see that there are a lot of characters, a lot of objects that Scratch already makes it available for you. What's the problem though? The problem is if you are a fairly advanced, let's say, user of Scratch in terms of coding, or let's say that you can make sure that you want your characters to be a little bit more custom made. So that's when things can come a little tricky if you guys do not have the right skill set to handle Scratch. So again, in a simple way, let's just say that I want to create a story between my friend cat and my friend dog. Then I add a cat, I add a dog, then I'm going to add what we call a backdrop, which is going to be our backdrop, as I mentioned, like our background. Let's put them in a witch house, for example. There we go. All right. Let me make sure that my cat, for example, is facing my dog quickly here. There we go. And then all I got to do is, let me increase my zoom here for you guys. All I got to do is start coding the cat and the dog so the story works. So my cat's going to start in saying hello. My dog will have to wait for a little bit longer. Okay, let's say 3 seconds. And then he's going to say hello back. Alrighty. Let me maximize here for you guys to see. And then we're going to press our green flag. There you go. Super simple, not a big deal. You have your cat, your dog talking. I would not go a little too deep into the aspects of the coding. This is not the point of our little talk here, but I'll give you guys a little bit of an extra flavor in how to make everything in Scratch a little bit more of your tasting. Now, as I mentioned, here, if you go to choose sprite, you're going to have a bunch of sprites that Scratch already gives to you. But that does not mean you cannot have other types of sprite. Let's say that you are a big Naruto fan, or let's say that you want to create games with Mario characters. Let's say that you are a big Pokemon lover and you want to add those little guys in your Scratch game. Can we do it? As a matter of fact, we can. Not a lot of kids that I taught so far, they actually know of this trick. If you guys go here all the way into the menu without clicking, you can first do what we call paint. A lot of kids already know how to do that. You can create whatever scratch, whatever sprite in here. You can edit your own sprite, your own flavor. Let's say that I want to give this little guy here a Zorro mask. And then all we got to do is paint it around, create a little bit of, a flavor for your sprite. But again, that really depends to look super good on your own painting abilities and how complex you're going to be able to, draw your design. If you really zoom in, it doesn't look quite perfect, right? The costumes, painting part of Scratch, it's not the best for personalization, right? From customizing your sprite, but it allows you to at least be a little bit more creative in what you want to do. But what I am proposing needs a few extra skill sets that I can show you guys how to do it. And it allows you to literally add any character that you like in your Scratch games or stories. I'm going to show you guys what I have ready to go so far in my computer, and then I'll navigate you guys a little bit on the step-by-step on how to create that library yourself. All right? So we're going to go here, and then we're going to go all the way to the first little icon here that's called Upload Sprite. All right? Once I click in here, it's going to open a window from your computer where you're going to have to find the sprites that you want to add. That's where most kids will be a little overwhelmed. That's where it gets a little tricky if they don't know how to navigate their operational system like Windows or iOS. So for me, I'm going to go straight where I have all my other sprites. Okay? I have anime sprites, I have Mario Kart sprites, I have Marvel sprites, I have Pokemon sprites, I have Star Wars sprites. And that took me a little bit of time to go online, find the right pictures, and then download those pictures into my computer so I can finally upload it into my Scratch game. So most kids that I teach, they are actually Pokemon lovers. So let's go here with Pokemon. As you guys can see, I downloaded a lot of images from a lot of Pokemons, right? And I will just play a little bit with the evolution of Pokemon. Okay. Oh, sorry, you can only see Scratch screen. So maybe my let me see if I can share my window here quickly. My entire screen. There we go. All righty. Can you guys see it now? My full screen? Yep. Okay, so I'm going to go again. So choose a sprite, go all the way to upload sprite. And then again, I'm going to navigate on my computer just to where I downloaded all those pictures. I'm going to go to clubs. Oops, sorry. I'm going to go to class files and then Pokemon sprites. Okay. And then we have, again, I downloaded all those Pokemons from different websites, and I'm going to just code quickly here a evolution little story for you guys. So I am selecting Pichu, Pikachu, and Raichu. Okay. I'm going to open the three of them. There we go. You guys are going to see all the little Pokemons here in my screen. I'm going to add a different location. Now, usually when you download images from the internet, they are not in the size that you would like. So that's when you need to work a little bit with the sizing of your images. That, yeah, sorry, my cat is trying to get in here, but I'm hoping that's going to slow down a little bit. Otherwise, he might be jumping here and might be bothering the screen of the presentation. Okay, so let me zoom to you guys in a little bit here. Okay, if you guys get into this part of your Scratch window, we are going to be playing with those little guys in terms of size. So my Pichu, for example, I think it's a little too big. So I would be doing just decreasing the size by 20%, right? The size is in percentage, okay? Then my Pikachu, I'm going to just make it a little bit bigger because, again, it's evolving, right? So I'm going to make it at 85, slightly bigger. And then my Raichu is actually, it's a smaller image, right? So I will make sure to make it bigger. So let's go with 120. Not quite what I wanted, so let's go with 130. Oops, not 130. There we go. Okay, so now you as a student, you guys can just have every Pokemon that you want as long as you download the right image to play with it. And I'll show you guys in a quick minute. Okay, if you are a teacher, as long as you have those libraries, you can start using those Pokemons or anything else just to make sure that you are tailoring your lecture to the taste of your children, to your students. Because and that's an experience that I had for quite some time, if you just use whatever is neutral from Scratch, for example, you're not going to really touch your students where they really want. That is Pokemon, they're passionate about it, or Super Mario. We had a big hype about Super Mario after the movie. And you can teach using those sprites, those characters, coding to make sure that your class gets a little of extra flavor. Now, I see some questions here, for example, from Wenwen Cheng. How do we talk about copyright and Creative Commons issues with students as they build their library images? So copyright rules are very complicated in terms of the country you are and what's the benefit that each person has. Here in Canada, for example, as long as it's for educational purposes only, for not reproducing at all, you can just use whatever image as long as it does not leave your classroom. It really depends, again, on your interpretation. And if you are concerned about copyrights, of course, I would definitely talk to a lawyer about it. My understanding is that copyright laws, they are problematic when you are selling. Anything that is for your personal use, it does not infringe the copyright laws. I'm not a lawyer. I've been doing this for 5 years. I've been using those Pokemons, etc., for quite some time. And again, a lot of those images, they're actually in websites that do not have copyright issues. So they're created by fans for fans in a way. Again, in Canada, I don't suffer much with those copyright issues because I know that if I'm using for educational purposes, I'm safe. Okay, so I would encourage you to consult your own regulations from your country, of course, if there's anything else, right? Nicoletta said, Scratch for only children or adults. Scratch is definitely more for children. It really depends on how familiar they are with coding. I already taught Scratch all the way from grades 1 to grade 12. usually when we get to grade 9, kids don't tend to be a little bit more exciting about Scratch as the younger kids were. So at that point in time, they're usually more interested in more of a classic coding. Languages like Python, they tend to be fairly to use, but then you need a little bit more knowledgeable, let's put that way, in that language because it's not as intuitive as Scratch is. All right. Okay, yeah, there are no more questions here. Okay, so, and again, Nick, love it, the idea. Let's start using Pokemon, but I never, ever, ever used any image saved in my computer before from scratch. What is your step-by-step? Super simple. I'm going to open, again, another tab here just to show you guys whatever it's going to work. And let's say that I'm looking for, I don't know, let's go with the Eevee for Pokemon. Okay, Eevee, image, transparent. And that is the trick. Images, in order to be nice, round, and smooth, as you guys can see it here, you need to have the transparent word into it. Because if they don't have it, then what's going to happen? They're going to have like a white, weird square background behind it. I'll give you guys a comparison. Okay, so this little Eevee here, I'm going to save my image. All right. And then if you guys see that the image has those little checkers, right? The little gray and white checkers. And when you save, if your saving part here says PNG, then you are good to go. Okay? Let's do a comparison now without the transparent. Okay? Can you guys see the weird white background here? Once I'm going to save it, you guys are seeing that this file type here is JPG. PNG brings transparent images, but the images also need to be transparent, having the little checkers there. JPEG image or JPG, they have white backgrounds. Okay. Now, I'm just going to import those images to my Scratch game, just so you guys can see the difference. Oops, wrong button, sorry. Upload Sprites. Should be here on my desktop. There we go. I'm uploading both. Alrighty. So my Eevee, that was a JPG, comes with this weird white background, and that's not really good. But our Eevee that is a PNG and has the checkers background comes transparent and ready to use. Then you can adjust the size, etc., in whatever way we want, and you can continue your coding. Now, let's just say that you guys really, really, really like this image. You cannot find this image in a PNG setting. Can you remove the background? Yes. Background remover. Very, very simple tools. You can Google. There are plenty of them. All you got to do is make sure it's free, please, right? And then upload the image and try to clear the image. Okay, let's work it out here quickly. All right, see? And then your image becomes, again, transparent. All you got to do is download it. And let's upload that new sprite in here. And there you go. Oh, sorry, the wrong one. And our Eevee is without background again. But let's say that you want to give your kids a little bit more. You want to let them play a little bit with their fine motor skills. What you can do is select your little sprite, bring here to costume, and you can tell the kids to select this little eraser and let them work on erasing all the white part just to get them with a transparent background. And some of you, and that's going to be where I'm going to leave you guys. Oh, this is super boring. My kids will be, not going to be excited about if you're a teacher, or even as a child, you're not feeling very excited about doing this. And I'm going to tell you, my friends, super fine. You have the background remover tool that you can find in Google. But let me tell you one thing. If you, as a child, like doing designing, like drawing, that might be a very good idea to do things like that. Because if you ever want to develop your designing skills, hard, laborious, silly work like that will actually happen in your career. All right. So this is a great way to be doing things that you would be doing in the future in big softwares like Photoshop. All right. I hope those tips were helpful for both teachers and students. And I just hope you guys go out there, start creating your own Scratch Sprite library, and have fun. Hopefully you guys are going to be doing some coding in the future as well. And I'll be staying here for the next 5 minutes or so. If you guys have any questions, feel free just to shoot it in the chat. Otherwise, continue enjoying the conference.